Okay, so why everyday carry camera? Why it's different than your main camera, or maybe there is no such thing as main camera if you're shooting for a hobby. What conclusion I came to is that, and this is based on a lot of years. I'm actively shooting since 2008. To be frank, this was the time when I first purchased my first DSLR, but before then, for 2 or 3 years, I was as well actively shooting with a compact camera. So I could say that it's about 20 years now of experience, and most of this time I was trying to find the perfect camera which will be suitable for my work tasks, as well as to be suitable to carry around like a hobby camera to document my family. After all those years, maybe a year ago or two, I find out that there is no perfect camera. So if a camera is really capable, and I've had such cameras, and I now have, they're usually not suited to go around with them on an everyday basis, just because they're bulky. The camera itself is bulky, and then the lenses are as well bulky. So my conclusion is that if a person wants to have a capable camera, and then again to have a camera that is suitable to go around with, these are two separate cameras. And it's maybe for some people there will be like a okayish compromise. For example, now is 2025 in the beginning, and I would say that Fujifilm X-T10 may be such a camera. I have only tested it, but I haven't owned it or used it for a long time, so I cannot be sure. But on paper, it should be sufficiently good for a serious work. As well, it's compact enough to carry around. Is the price okay? I think that it's a bit overpriced for what it is, because you can get a lot more capable camera for around the same money, especially used. And there is no real need to buy new cameras most of the time, because you can find them used in just the same condition as new for a lot less money. So when I realized that I will most probably not find a perfect camera, it's way harder to find good everyday camera than it's to find a good all-rounder camera. It's very important for each of us to decide what are the exact criteria for a good everyday camera. And most of the time it will be a kind of compromise. No matter which camera you choose, you most probably compromise. So now I'll tell you which are my criteria. And the first camera which I bought with the idea to be exactly an everyday camera, not all-rounder, is the Fuji X-T10. Here is the Fuji X-T10. It's with the half leather case, which I'll remove in a bit to show you. I think to shoot a series for like the perfect everyday camera, why is that important? Because I struggled throughout the years, and throughout the years I mean a period of about 20 years, to find a perfect camera which is suitable to like more serious work, as well as to carry it around and do it all camera. And for some people there may be cameras that are suitable enough for all their needs, but for me I couldn't find one. And I'm searching it for years. And by searching I mean serious search. I've spent maybe hundreds of hours researching and trying in shops and so on, and then buying and then selling and so on and so on. So maybe about a year ago I realized that it's nonsense and I don't want to waste any more time in search for the perfect camera. So I decided that I will have two cameras. One camera will be for like more important stuff, which I want this camera I want to be more capable, to have a combination of several characteristics which are actually quite easy to get today, but not in the form factor that is suitable to carry around easily. Why series? Because I have found that my criteria for an everyday camera, they may be covered by at least several cameras, and I have used some of them I've only tested, but I'm sure that they cover this criteria, because the body alone, the combination of lenses and features, I see that it's suitable. It's suitable for that. I cannot buy all of them, but maybe the two of them I have in my possession currently, and then the third one my wife has it, so I can cover these three, and then we can like discuss on the other ones, even though I don't have them. I told you that I have different criterias for the everyday carry camera, and nowadays it's 2025 now at the time of recording. A mobile phone like the iPhone or most, maybe not most, but at least some Androids are good enough for a lot of the things that you would want to shoot on an everyday basis. The problem for me is that it's just not enjoyable. I mean, it's not enjoyable to use a screen and maybe a button or two. I don't like it. And the everyday camera's purpose is just one, for me at least, and it is to bring joy. And a real camera with all the buttons, it's completely different experience than a phone. Completely different experience. Even very, very old cameras, like I've researched some compact cameras recently, having 2 megapixels or 3.2 megapixels or 4 megapixels. They're more enjoyable to use than a phone. I mean, almost all cameras would be more enjoyable to use than a phone. Especially the cameras that are created to be more enjoyable. And there are enough of those cameras from all price ranges throughout the years, for the last 20-25 years, enough of this. So you can buy an everyday camera for as low as like 20-30 euros or dollars to 500 to 1,000 or even several thousand. Like for example the Leica Q2 or Q3, the last one. Maybe it's one of the most expensive cameras which I would define as everyday carry, although it's a bit too large for my taste. So let's see what are the criteria for the everyday camera. Firstly, for the everyday camera, I mainly focus on it being able to do good stills, not good video, because you can find pretty old camera which do good stills, but for video it's not the same case. For good video you will most probably need to buy a camera which is 5-6 years old, and for stills you can buy a lot older camera which is just fine. Okay, so that we've cleared out that an everyday camera and or serious utility camera are two different things in my opinion. Let's see now what types of camera and what criteria I think are appropriate for an everyday carry camera. Not only for me, but I think for a lot of people. The budget, it's not so important, because as a whole I think that an everyday carry camera shouldn't be expensive. As well, it doesn't need to be in pristine condition visually, because that way you may not use it as much, just to keep it safe. What was my first everyday camera that I bought? Exactly for that purpose, because I had a lot of cameras before that. It's the Fujifilm X-T10. Currently this is about a 10-year-old camera. I'm not sure in which year it's released, but this is an information you can easily find. So why I picked this camera? Now it's mated with a pancake, almost a pancake lens. It's full manual lens. It is TT Artisan 25mm f2.0. I think it's pretty respectable lens when you consider the price, for sure. But it's not a bad lens. But we'll get to why this lens later. First, about the camera. Why do I think that this is a good camera for everyday carry? Well, first thing for an everyday camera, in my opinion, is the size. The size of the X-T10 and all the other X-T double-digit cameras, which are X-T20, X-T30, and 30 Mark II. Then there is 50 now, but I'm not sure if the 50 is a little bigger, but even a little bigger it would be fine, in my opinion. So my most important criteria is the size, because it should fit in pocket of a winter coat or other bigger pocket. So it's obvious that you won't be able to put it in your front pocket of your jeans, because it is not that small. Actually here it looks bigger compared to myself because of the wide angle lens I use, but actually it's good. The size is pretty okay. The size should be small enough, and then which of the three dimensions I think is the most important. So the most important is how thick it is with the lens, because that way it can go into pockets or in smaller bags which are more compact, so it doesn't bother. Then the second most important dimension is the size, how tall it is, because some pockets may be tighter and then you cannot put it inside. So in that regard, usually rangefinder style cameras, they are a little less tall than the DSLR style or the SLR style cameras like this. This is acceptable, but a bit more than this, it will be too much for a lot of pockets. Another thing which I like on the Fuji is regarding the thickness. I will move a bit so you can see it. The viewfinder eyepiece is very compact and it doesn't protrude much to the back of the camera, which is very good because it is preventing you to slip it in some pocket. So this is one of my most important criteria for the everyday carry camera. Some cameras like Panasonic's, they usually have pretty huge an eyepiece, which is even a viewfinder which is going way to the back, which is more convenient for your nose, but I will trade it any day for something like this which does not protrude. This Fujifilm is a interchangeable lens camera, so you will need a lens which is compact enough. And this is where I think Fujifilm is lacking as a system, because currently, aside from the medium lens, the only lens which are automatic are the 27 2.8, which is fairly slow in my opinion at 2.8. And given most Fujifilms doesn't have image stabilization in the camera, and then also their prime lenses does not have it also, it's just lacking in that regard. Not so much on the depth of field, but when you need to use it in low light, 2.8 is not ideal. I would want at least 2.0. Actually, this is the reason I bought this lens. Fujifilm also has this 18, I think, lens, which is as well pancake, but it is too wide for me. For an everyday carry camera, I would like the lens to be between 35 and 50 millimeters. Even 50 is maybe a bit too long. 35 is at the limit to be too wide, so my ideal focal length is 40 millimeters. And 40 millimeters is exactly my current everyday camera, which we'll get to it maybe later or in another video. It is not the Fujifilm, even though it's a very good camera. So the size with this lens, it is okayish, I think. I have another lens for it, which is 23 1.4. It is a Vutrox. Actually, it's very good lens, but it's huge. I mean, I think that it's a bit too much for this camera. Something in between is the Fujicrons 23 2.0. Maybe will be a good match for this camera, but it will protrude more to the front, so I will not be able to put it in my pockets. This is why I think it's not an option for me. It's not an option as an everyday carry camera, the way I like to carry it, which is in big pockets. Why in big pockets? Because in a big pocket I can very easily and quickly take it out, make a shot, put it back in the pocket. The pocket itself doesn't look very stylish. I mean, it's a bit bulky, but it's way more convenient for me than the camera to be in a camera bag. I'm using a lot my backpack in combination with a separate camera bag is an awful combination, because it's not very convenient to use. I have a place in the backpack to put my camera, but again, it's not convenient to take it out and then put it back in. So when I carry my camera that way, I tend to shoot way less than when I carry the camera in my pocket, which is the way I shoot the most. So it speaks to me that this is the way I naturally want it to be. So fairly small camera, put it in the pocket, take it out whenever you want, then put it back in. That's it. So the physical size of the Fuji is okay. Then the weight, maybe with this lens, which is full metal, I don't know exactly what the weight is. Maybe I can measure it after that and put the weight in, but it's okay-ish. It's near the limit to be too heavy. What would be too heavy for me? Well, when you're with your coat and then the camera is one pocket, if the camera twists like the whole outlook and this pocket looks like there is like a heavy iron put in there, so this is too heavy. So it's okay to operate. It's not front heavy with this lens. but in the same time it's full manual lens, so it's not so convenient as autofocus lens. Okay, what is the next criteria which is important for an everyday carry camera? It is the looks. It is, do you like it when you see it? Do you enjoy just looking at it? Do you enjoy taking it out, touching it? This is a very important thing, because it is not a kind of utilitarian camera which you use it because it is very good in what it does. Like, for example, if you want a camera to use it professionally, the output is more important for you. The way you achieve your final goal, the easiest you achieve your final goal, the less mistakes you tend to make with it, or whatever. It's completely different story. For the everyday carry camera, you want it to want to take it out and take a picture. So the looks is very important. Then another thing, in my opinion, is the external controls. An everyday carry camera should have enough external controls for your type of shooting. So this camera here has shutter speed dial with automatic position. It has 2 dials which can be set for different things. For example, I have set the front one to ISO, and then the back one I have set to magnifying because of the use of manual lens. And then you have a exposure compensation dial, drive mode. It's not exactly a drive mode dial because it has some additional options, but you change here for single shooting, continuous, bracketing, filters, panorama, and so on. So it's more like a drive mode dial. You have a dial for turning the flash on, or not on, but to pop it out. Very convenient is the placement of the on-off switch, which is in a core around the shutter button. Then on the back there is Q button. You can set the dial for autofocus, direct selection of point, or you can set these buttons to some custom functions, which I have done. I use only the down button for autofocus, and then the rest of them are white balance, the Fujifilm recipes, and then the right one. Actually, I don't remember what I have set. I don't use it, so it doesn't matter. So it has enough external controls. Also, a lot of the lenses, they have the aperture dial, like this one here. All the manual lenses actually has it. Some Fujifilm lenses or some other manufacturers, for example, from what I remember, the autofocus lenses of TT Artisan and Vutrox, these which are 1.7, or at least a lot of them doesn't have the aperture dial. Also the 35mm 2.0, the plastic version of Fujifilm, does not have it, as well as the first version of the Pancake, which is the 27mm 2.8, which in my opinion, the second version of this lens may be the most appropriate lens for these Fujifilm cameras, the whole line of this camera. Another thing which is very important for an everyday carry camera is a viewfinder. It's very good to have a viewfinder because when it's bright outside, when you have snow, which is again bright during the winter, it's very good just to be able to put it near your eye and then frame your picture, because when there is too much light, it's very hard to do it. And for EDC camera, you're usually somewhere outside. It's a huge bonus. I've had cameras without a viewfinder and I tend to get used to it, but if you can, it's better that you have a viewfinder. And it doesn't need to be a great viewfinder, just a viewfinder. So it's just for framing, or in this case it's also for focusing, but most of the time it will be for framing, because nowadays to use manual lens, except for the Leica M, it's more like an exception than a rule. Another thing, as I showed you, this camera has a flash, a pop-up flash. It's a small pop-up flash, and as all built-in flashes, it's not great, but it's good to have it. You can experiment, you can achieve these 90s style pictures with it, which some people love. So then the next thing which it's important for me regarding EDC camera is the perception of quality. I mean, it is a product which you, as I mentioned, you want to use. So the perception of quality is very important, and this Fuji, you can feel it is a quality thing. It does not feel cheap by any means. I think it's okay in that regard. I haven't used extensively other Fujis, but as a comparison, I may give you, for example, these Canon DSLRs, which are like the base models with 3 digits. They are awful to the touch. So the quality of this camera, the perception of the quality, because actually the quality you cannot tell it just by touching it, but the perception of the materials and the assembly and everything, it's pretty good. Image quality is by far not the most important thing, in my opinion, for an everyday camera. This camera has APS-C size sensor, 16 megapixel. It's X-Trans 2 sensor by Fujifilm, which a lot of people find to be like the best transect sensor in terms of color rendering. I cannot say if it's true or not, because it's the only Fuji that I have used extensively. What I can say is that the image quality and the sensor is good enough. Certainly it's good enough for me. And I compare it to a full frame camera. So again, it's good enough. For everyday camera, 16 megapixels are, I think, enough. I wouldn't want from an everyday camera to be more than 20, or like the complete limit is 24 megapixel. Why is that? Because I don't crop a lot first, then why deal with bigger files? There is no need of that, because by the time that you have so many pictures and the volume is so huge that you need to buy like external hard drives or make a NAS storage or so on. I mean, this managing of big files is not something that I think you need from an everyday carry camera, because its main purpose is to make you shoot, make you feel good while doing it, for the experience. It is for the experience actually. And for some memories, but these memories 16 megapixels are way enough. I have a print which is A1 size from my 10 megapixel Pentax DSLR, which I made 2009, I think, which is hanging in a room in a relative of mine. So I don't see the point to deal with huge file sizes. It's just not convenient, and there is no point in it. So 16 megapixel I think is a sweet spot. So another thing which I like about this camera is that it has a combined mechanical plus electronic shutter option. When it's very bright outside and you want to put the camera in a smaller f number, for example 2.0, or like with another lens which can let you do even less, you need to be able to select faster shutter speed or the camera to do it. This camera has 1/4000 of a second shutter speed, the fastest for the mechanical shutter, which means that it's not enough, or you need to put an anti-filter in front, which, to be fair, is a bit of a hassle for everyday carry camera. So it's good that the automatic, the electronic shutter can be set to turn on automatically, and I think that it lets the camera shoot to up to 30,000 of a second, which is great. I think it's enough. Another thing for the electronic shutter is that as an everyday carry camera, sometimes you want it to be silent, and then I'll now turn it on and fire a picture so you can see, not see, but hear the electronic shutter. Now I will turn it to electronic shutter only, and you can hear that there is just the mechanical sound of the shutter button and nothing more, so it's completely silent, and that's a good thing. The electronic shutter is not suitable for all types of photos, but in most cases, if you're not shooting like something in motion, it's okay. So this is a bonus about this camera. Another thing which I like for this camera a lot is that you can select a minimum shutter speed for each of the 3 auto ISO ranges. So if I select auto, for example, there is auto 1, auto 2 and auto 3, and then you select the base ISO and then the upper limit of ISO, and then minimum shutter speed. And the minimum shutter speed, you select it mainly because first, you don't have any kind of stabilization in this camera, and you want to reduce the effects of camera shake, which means that you need the shutter to be faster than it would be having image stabilization. And to be fair, I'm used to using image stabilization with almost all my prior cameras, going back to my compact Canon before DSLR era. It had image stabilization as well. My Pentax DSLR has it. Then all my Olympus's Micro Four Thirds cameras had that. My Lumixes, all of them had it, and even the full frame one had it. So this is the first camera with no image stabilization, and I thought that it will be a bigger problem for me. It's actually not so much of a problem, because I found out that my hands are fairly steady and I can get a sharp picture for as low as like 1/15th or 1/20th of a second. So most of the time, if it's not very dark, it's not very much of a problem for me, but it's always better to have stabilization. So one other thing I like about this camera is that you can use bracketing with film recipes. There are 2 positions for bracketing in the drive dial, bracket 1 and bracket 2, and you can select up to 3 different recipes for each position. So if you cannot decide which exactly recipe you want to use for that particular picture, you always can have 3 of them. Keep in mind that using bracketing, you cannot shoot at JPEG plus RAW, so you don't have RAW file. You just have 3 JPEGs with burnt recipes in them. So it has a drawback, but if your idea is not to mess with RAW files, and actually for EDC camera, for me personally, it's way better not to mess with. I don't like editing. I prefer not to mess with that. I have about several thousand pictures a year, relatively, like everyday pictures, not like if I'm shooting something specifically for some kind of project. Several thousand RAW files, it's a huge volume, as well as most of the time I won't edit them. Or if I set the camera to RAW plus JPEG, most of the time out of 100 pictures I will edit maybe 2 or 3. I don't think it will be more than that. So I think these are the most important aspects of an everyday carry camera. Now that I have shown you what I like about this Fuji and why I think it's a good everyday carry camera, there are several things which I don't like. Some things are connected with the Fuji as a system, and then some things I don't like about this particular camera. The first thing and the biggest drawback for Fuji is actually the lens selection. The small lens selection. And by small, I mean how tall they are, how much they're protruding in front of the body. This is why I'm currently using not a Fujifilm lens, because I want it to be at least f2.0, and then I want it to be about 35 to 40 millimeters in full frame terms. So this is a 25, which means that in full frame terms it will be about 37 or 38 millimeters, which is great. This lens is good, but I would like to have the same lens as dimensions from Fujifilm or some other manufacturer like Sigma, because the coating of this lens I don't like it a lot. It doesn't have good contrast wide open. It's some kind of compromise. The price of this lens is very good. It's below 100 euro or dollars. You can find it for even cheaper. It's a good start. You can also use it not only as a start, but I would like something from Fujifilm, something between 1.7 and 2.0, about between actually 23 to 27 millimeters, which is pancake size. So this would be great. Some of you may say this is not possible. I'm not sure it's not possible. Here is my Olympus with 20 millimeters 1.7 autofocus lens. It's a beautiful lens. So yeah, again, the sensor is a bit smaller, but I think that it should be possible. Then the next thing which I don't like is the implementation of the peaking in Fujifilm cameras, or in this generation of Fujifilm cameras, because I know that it may have changed. There was a video which I watched before buying this camera, and the guy said, I don't remember the channel, but the guy said that Fujifilm X-T10, which is one generation older, with actually the first generation of Trans-X sensor. The peaking is not good, and then the first camera with good peaking was of the next generation, which was the X-T2, which is the same generation as the X-T10 and the X-T1 and so on. So maybe he's right, I haven't used the other cameras, but the peaking it's not so easy as on Panasonic and Olympus. To some extent this is due to the low resolution of the screen and of the viewfinder, but as far as I know, the viewfinders of Fujifilm, except for the several of the bigger Fujis, they're still up to this date not with no better resolution. It's about 2-point-something million dots, so I don't know if it's way easier to focus them now, especially through the viewfinder. The screens, I know they are better now. I have tested the XS20. I can say that the screen behind it is very good, but the viewfinder is just the same as this one 10 years old. This is something which I don't like for sure. Then the lack of image stabilization, again, I think it's a huge drawback. And yes, the size, somebody could say the size will be a lot bigger with image stabilization. Well, I do not agree. There are examples of a lot of cameras which are not bigger than that and has the stabilization. You can take the X-T10, which is right about the same size or tiny bit bigger, I'm not sure. It has it. All the Micro Four Thirds camera, not all of them, but there are a lot of Micro Four Thirds camera which are way smaller and has image stabilization. Yes, smaller sensor, I get that, but at the same time they're way smaller than this Fuji. And last thing, which is not great about this camera in my opinion, is the video quality and the video settings. Actually, it shoots Full HD, 25 or 50 frames per second. I'm in power regions, so for other regions it most probably is 1360. I don't know if it has 24, and I don't care because I never use it. But the options you have in the menu regarding the video, there are just 4 options for video, no other options, and the only way to start the video is using this small button, which is not very convenient. It's not easy to operate, and the 4 options, the only 4 options you have for video is just first the resolution and frame rate, which is combined setting, then movie ISO, which has an auto position, then from 400 to 6400 if you select it manually, so it's good that it has an auto. Then mic level adjustment from 1 to 4, so it has 4 options. And the 4th and last video option is for this jack here, 2.5. Do you want to use it for a remote shutter or for microphone? So these are all the options you have. No other options, no other way to start a video other than this button here. Shooting a video, you would want to firstly put your shutter speed in the needed position and then use this button. These are the main drawbacks of this camera. They're not huge, so in my opinion this would be a great everyday camera for a lot of people. maybe not with a manual lens. For an everyday camera I would want to have a autofocus lens, and the best choice would be Fujifilm X-T10 2.8, whichever version you can get. The second actually I think is better because you have the aperture dial, because first one doesn't have it, and then these two dials on Fujifilms, the front and the back dial, they're pressable and they do not work as good as in other cameras. I don't know how to explain it, but when you turn them, they just fail to work on every turn. They're just not that precise. I have set my front dial for ISO, but I just don't like to use it. I mean, it's awful to use. That's why I usually set my ISO to some of the automatic positions, and I don't want to be messing with these dials, the front and the back. Actually, the back dial I use it for quick zoom, but I use it as a button, not as a dial. This is what I can say about the drawbacks of the camera. Now let's talk about some accessories. First thing is straps. I hate straps, so the first thing I do with a camera is remove the straps, or if it's new, never put them on. So you will not see straps on my cameras usually. I only use straps when I need to, when it's like necessary. If I'm in a dangerous place, which I don't want my camera to be stolen, then I will put a strap, or if I'm on the peak of a mountain and so on, maybe I would consider putting on a strap. But other than that, I don't like something to be messing around my camera. And actually I think it may be harmful to the camera, because when you put it on some kind of surface and then the strap is around the camera, it's very easy for somebody or an animal or a dog or something just to catch the strap, and then your camera will be fast forward on the floor. So I don't like them. Then camera bags. I tend to not use them for everyday camera. If I go out, I tend to select clothes which have big enough pockets. They're usually like upper clothes. If it's during the summer, I use the smallest possible bag, which is usually a waist bag or a sling bag. But whenever I can, I tend to not use bags. Batteries. This Fujifilm has Fuji's smaller batteries, which are completely fine for an everyday carry camera. Most of the time I won't need to replace my battery during the day. If I'm somewhere on vacation, it's more probable, so I just take a spare battery and it's not a problem. Now you see that I have installed my half case. I usually don't like these things, and when I was buying the camera, it was the pictures I saw of that camera was with this half case, and the first thing I thought is that I will remove it straight away, and then, but after holding it with it, it makes the camera a bit more comfortable to hold, and then adds a bit more to the height, which make it again more comfortable for my fairly big hands. So that's why I have left it here. Now I will remove it to show you the size of the camera without it. It's a bit smaller like that. but not by a huge margin. Most important is the half case doesn't make it thicker, so it's not harder to put it in a pocket with the half case. So this is why I keep it, and as well the half case prevents the camera from being scratched all around, and also it makes it a bit more bomb proof if you drop it, so that's why I keep it. But the camera I think looks a bit better without it. Another accessory which the camera has is this attachment to the shutter button. Fujifilm has this type of shutters. Most of the Fujifilms has this type of shutter with a screw, which mimics the old SLRs for a cable release. So the good thing about this type of buttons is that you can exchange them with the design that you want and the design which is comfortable for you. And actually it looks better, in my opinion. It adds to the charm of the camera. So I have never removed this one, and maybe I won't in the future if I tend to keep this camera for a longer time. I have it for about a year now, but with this manual lens I don't tend to use it as much as the Olympus, so maybe it will go. But for an everyday camera, my conclusion is that X-T10 is a very good camera. You may take X-T20 as well, or X-T30 or 30 Mark II or 50. All of them I think are good cameras. I would usually get the cheapest one, because for an everyday camera, if something happens with the camera, I think you should be able to replace it quickly and not to be a huge burden on your budget. I don't see how the newer models, although they have more features, just for taking pictures, I don't think they're way better than this one. So this is good enough for an EDC camera.